right. What is up, nation? Welcome to the Light Bars and Lockers podcast, the Jeep podcast where we talk about badass builds, answer your questions, and talk about ways to beef up your ride. As always, I'm Paul with JeepBeef. We've got Ryan Stoangi from Combat Off-Road.
You know what I thought? I always wave or something. And then I'm like, oh, I should talk. So I'm going to say, hello, guys.
There you go. That's right. Right. You got to think about the
I know,
audio
that
only
up.
people, right?
You got to go back and edit the last 3 years of the podcast.
That's it. I'll let our guy know that he's got to fix that.
He's got a job to do.
There you go. And then, of course, tonight we've got special guest, the host of the WarPaint JKU YouTube channel, Digit Dan. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with the J part, so I just had to roll that in. How's it going, everyone?
I hate when Paul starts drinking too early.
I didn't today. I literally just cracked this very small bottle.
Show him that bottle.
What is that?
It's a full-on. I don't know. It was the only thing I had. It's a cider that one of the girls in the office gave me for Christmas. So
he claims it's cider,
right? Yeah, that's right. It's just it's vodka, moonshine.
It's monsters, dude.
It's huge. Look at it. It's
your whole torso,
right? It's almost a liter right there.
Jeez,
it's crazy. Yeah. So it is. It's as big as my whole torso. So and I just started. So I think we're good. We got a good half an hour until anything happens. So it's a god dang, Paul. Cider in quotes. That's right. Exactly. Yeah. So, you know what, Dan? Why don't you give us the 20,000 foot lowdown of yourself and maybe the channel? So, as we mentioned, Dan is the host of the WarPaint JKU YouTube channel. Tell us how did you get into it? How long you been doing it? All that fun stuff.
Cool. Yeah. So, it's kind of a funny story actually, because I was never a social media guy, I guess, until about a year ago. Don't even really have a Facebook. I'm not on social media. But I started an Instagram page because I kind of worked with some Jeep companies and wanted to, help them out, make them a little bit more visible. So as per their request, I started the Instagram, started doing some lives, talking about my Jeep, talking about just general things for people. People were messaging me basically saying that I should put some stuff on YouTube about it. So I thought about it for a little while. A couple months later, decided to give it a shot. Got nothing to lose. I'm doing it all anyway. Now I'm just doing it in front of a camera. And it kind of worked out. There was a big learning curve in the beginning, I will say, because not being a social media guy and not knowing how to film and edit or anything. So there's definitely a learning curve. And I'm still learning. But it's growing pretty good, and I'm happy with it, and the future's bright.
Amazing. Awesome. Yeah, I was going to ask real quick, Harry, we're going to get to your question in just a couple minutes, and Mike Miller says, evening, fellas.
What's up, Mike?
What's going on, Mike? So I was going to ask if you had a background in photography or videography or anything like that to kind of I assume you edit your own videos, all that. You just sort of tutorialed it.
I edit my own videos. I pay for an app, but I use an app on my phone. I don't even use a computer. I'm doing everything essentially off my phone or a tablet, an iPad, and that's how it's done. Yeah. So I just kind of immersed myself in it and tried to learn as much as I could. And again, still learning because I'm certainly by no means an expert, but we're getting there.
What so you do all your YouTube videos on your phone, on an app?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I film them with a GoPro or my phone or a drone, right? Then I load everything basically into an app, and then wind up editing it in the app right on my phone.
That's amazing.
Wow,
that's insane.
What's that look like? Sorry, Paul. I was what's a day in the life of that? You want to film a video, you want it to be X amount of minutes. What is that? What should that take someone to do? You know what I mean?
We're gonna get deep. We want to know.
I'm
all
just
the
curious.
No, it's great. Yeah,
it's great.
Other people that are thinking about doing it.
I know exactly. No, for sure.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. I feel like the finished product always makes it look so easy. So it's an awesome question, and I learned very quickly how much time it actually does take. So, for example, if I go wheeling for a Saturday, we'll have cameras going all day long. I'll probably have close to 6 hours of footage. And then by the time I load it in and edit it down, I wind up with like a 20-minute video. And it probably takes me days, obviously. And, you know, with a normal job, like most people have, I work on it when I can, but it probably takes me, 10 hours or so of editing to get it down to like a 20-minute video that I'm happy with.
Right.
So yeah, it's a lot of time. If it's something quick in my garage, showing someone the guts of a diff or something like that, I'll work on it for a few hours over a couple of days and then edit it when I can. So it's not as time crucial, but
what do you prefer
insane.
though? Like, do you prefer doing the trail videos or like a tech video or?
So the channel itself is kind of guided. I like doing tech videos. I mean, I like doing everything,
right?
But I like doing the tech videos as it's a little bit more of the focus because the niche, I guess you could say, of the channel is aimed at the normal everyday guy, right? Like there's plenty of fancy, big, crazy built Jeeps out there on the internet that people watch on YouTube. They're super expensive.
Yeah, they're almost unattainable for the average bear.
Yeah, like the whatever the percentage is, the 90% of the people watching those videos wish they could have a Jeep like that, but no one's showing them how to do it. And so I'm showing you how to do it in a 2-car garage with basic tools,
Yeah, which is cool. I mean, I think there's definitely something.
More practical, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like still 1-ton, still crazy flex and all the fun stuff. Lockers, regearing yourself, all that kind of stuff. But showing people how to do it in a relatable video to where they could walk out in their own garage and then say, "Oh, I can get a pair of pliers and a magnetic dial indicator, off Amazon or because there's a lot of those channels out there which are great, but like they show you how to do something and they're showing you in this massive giant garage with $100,000 worth of tools, and it doesn't always translate to like the normal guy. You know?
For sure. No, it's actually
there's definitely a space for it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. That's what sort of, to me, I think that there's that different angle because you're right. You just see so many guys out there that are like, check it out. I'm gonna take my Jeep and put on a lift and throw on these 40s and do whatever. But who has the cash to do that sort of thing, right? I mean,
it's cool to watch. But
it's awesome to watch.
For people that want to watch and do it themselves, I could never afford my Jeep if I had to pay someone else to build it. So, but it's on 40s.
That's the next episode, though. We're going to tell you how to get some credit cards.
Exactly. Real quick side question for Ryan in particular. I believe this is Synergy Scott. Asking Scott from Synergy.
Right.
He wants to know, and sorry, I forget his last name, so I apologize. But pardon me?
Scott Jabs.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. So where did the "What are you working on" come from?
Oh, he wants. What do you mean? He said it. So Scott started. What are you working on?
So I saw it on Instagram, and I thought he started it too. That's where
I don't know. That's what I did, Scott. I saw your video, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. I didn't really. This thing that sucked. I didn't have anything that I was really working on, other than we had to take some. We really had to take we put brand new hood latches on my old JK. Just to do, just so they're on there, and then we had to take them back off because they ran out of ones at the shop. So we had to take images for our like master data sheet for like boring like distributors, So then I'm like, oh, I have this stupid thing in my showroom, kind of thing. And then I just really like Scott's video, and then it was cool that Chuck did a video. And then
I was gonna say I saw Chuck's, I saw yours, I saw his.
I invited a bunch of people to do videos, and then Scott did, and it seems like
it says everyone's doing it now. Yeah. So basically, what happened for those not familiar, I believe Scott posted up a story.
We're gonna say Scott is the originator of the "What are you working on" hashtag. How's that?
There we go. We'll get him a T-shirt.
Scott owns it. We get a tattoo.
Yeah, that's right. Original, the OG. What are you working on?
If 10,000 people do it, Scott, I'm gonna pay for a tattoo that says "What are you working on?"
Like that ice bucket challenge,
but it's gonna be right on your ass. So that's where we're putting it. Right on. Whatever you can pick the ass cheek.
There you go. But yeah, so he posted up a story or a reel or something like that, and then asked like, "What are you working on?" Put the hashtag in, and then Brian did it, and then Chuck Converse did it, and then I don't know who else has done it, but apparently everyone else is doing it now.
Yeah.
So
really
if you're listening to this, do it and tag Scott. I believe he's Synergy Scott on Instagram, and let him know what you're working on.
Yeah,
well,
and just keep
Dan,
you
can do it.
We'll keep cycle through. Dan's up. Dan knows now he's gonna have to do it.
That's right. He says
I would say next week I'll do it. I'm working on something next week.
Sweet.
Amazing. I'm working on boring stuff. Does that count? Look at here's me on my computer.
It'll be funny. Just do it.
Big giant computer nerd. All right, that's what I'm working on. Yeah. So, how long ago did you start the YouTube channel? Like roughly.
Well, I think if you go back and you look at like the details, I think it says it officially started last January, like exactly a year ago. But I wasn't really posting on it, I think, until like February or March. So
that's
we're almost a year old.
That's amazing. Like really, I mean, you come pretty far in a year, right? And you know, I think a lot of people are thinking or would ask the question. It's like, is it too late to start a YouTube channel?
I don't know.
Right? Apparently not, though, right? I think like I mean, you're doing pretty well.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it works, right? I think a lot of people want to start one and don't realize how much work it takes, and then you got to be very consistent, and it's a big giant commitment. It's a big grind, but it's worth it. It's fun. I really enjoy it. I mean, if you're doing it because you want to be one of those YouTube millionaires, like keep walking kind of deal, there's the odds of that. But I'm already doing all this stuff anyway, so just doing it in front of a camera. And again, the whole thing is about giving back to everybody, right? So, which I don't know if you want to get into it now, but the whole theme of the YouTube channel, right? The ultimate goal is to wind up doing giveaway builds. So with the channel being monetized, again, normal everyday guy stuff, somebody's junk out of their, off their ranch in Texas, and throw some fun, crazy suspension underneath it, document the whole process, take it off-roading, and then give it away to the subscribers, right? And then just do it again, and do it again, and do it again. It's kind of the plan.
Sure. Yeah, no, exactly. I think that, and I think it's amazing. Like, again, the whole approach to the channel is amazing. So actually, somebody else is like the way he's approaching his channel. Make it for the everyday guy. That's how my build is. Completely built in a 2-car garage. How about that? There you go.
Yeah, I love it. Perfect.
Right? Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
Oh, sorry guys, unspoiled. I've had a shop since I was 22. So
yeah, but the thing is, you're
on the ground though.
Yeah, and you're the exception to the rule. Right? If you didn't own a shop, would you have all that? Probably not.
No, but that's why I did it. I turned my hobby into a business that I could, that I could enjoy. I mean, Jesus, there's been a lot of nonsense. Not like this show's about me or anything, but But then I moved into another business that I had even more passion for after like growing through the first business. Right? Like I love designing products and prototyping them, and then being able to push them to scale and creating packaging, and like you just have this idea thin air and you're gonna have to put it in something and figure all that out. Like like the dumbest stuff is questions like, how thick of foam do you need for that box? How thick of cardboard do you want on this box? And then this, and then never mind the 25,000 other parts, to get it to work. But yeah, so I just did it a little bit of a different way, right? Like, but it all came from building crap on the ground outside. You know what I mean? Like, popping up junk, selling it in the newspaper, newspaper even, I'm old as shit, right? Put it in the super shopper, dude. Yeah, man, print ads. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
That's awesome.
I know. It's awesome.
That's cool.
Well, let's talk about the focus of your channel right now, because you're running the series on the JK that you're building, right?
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah.
yeah. No, I am. Yeah, I am. And it's funny. I actually kind of shot myself in the foot. So anyone that's out there that wants to do a YouTube channel, I didn't realize this until recently, right? Like when you're trying to grow your channel, you have to think about what is very popular and then do that, right? Because you're not discovered. You're discovered by Google searches and things like that. So what winds up happening is like, I'm doing something that's super rare. I'm not the only guy to ever do it, but I'm doing something that's super rare. People aren't typing this into Google and searching for it. So no one's finding me through these videos, right? Once they do find the channel from something else, they love it.
Yeah, but it's entertaining. absolutely.
Right. As a small-ish new channel, this build right here is not helping me be discovered. Right.
Right.
So I probably should have taken some time and like made power grab handles for a while and then started something like this. I think it would have gotten a lot more attention. But I think those videos are going to get lots of views in the future after people see it. Because what we did was we basically took a 2007 first year of the JKU. So it's got the 3.8 liters still in it. It's got the automatic 4-speed behind it, right? So kind of a big turd, yeah. But it had Dana 44s under it. It's a Rubicon. We pulled those out. I built a set of junkyard axles. We did a Super Duty Dana 60 and a 14 bolt, which is like what everybody does.
Right.
But I showed everybody how to do it, broke it down into like what you need tool wise, how to do the re-gear step by step. Like I showed everybody everything, every step along the way.
How'd you like those radius arm mounts?
It's not my first time. So we'll preface it with that, but they're always a pain in the ass.
Yeah. This is giant hunks of shit.
They're easier when it's like your fifth time, but they're still a pain in the ass.
Right, yeah.
Especially when you don't want to take the plasma cutter off the shelf because you're doing it in the normal everyday guy way with a grinder.
Right.
Oh yeah,
that's even worse. But it got it done, right? But so the whole goal of the Jeep, right, is to basically show you how to build a Jeep on 1-tons on 40s with big brakes, with tons of suspension travel. We're setting it up so it's got 14 inches of travel front and rear, but in the most affordable way possible. And we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. But when you take the wheels and tires that were on the Jeep originally and all the stuff that we took off the Jeep, like the Dana 44s, that kind of stuff, and sell everything, and then buy all the other stuff, again, new 40s, Raceline beadlocks, the whole deal, build your own axles with leaf springs, front and rear. The owner, after you sell everything and you do the math, you're only out of pocket like $8,000. Right. So like $8,000 to have 14 inches of travel with 1-tons on 40s with new wheels, new brakes, new drive shafts, new suspension. Like an ultimate Dana 44 costs you $6,000.
Yeah.
Right. So
in
like
the box too, in the box.
Right. And you're not talking drive shafts in the box, like you said. So
and you need outers and you got to transfer it all over from the other axle and all that, right?
Yeah,
some of them, yeah. That's crazy.
Exactly. So that's kind of where we're at. So it's got a lot of attention because there's a lot of people out there that, take that old F-150 from the 80s and they're like, leaf springs, why on earth, and it is old technology, right? But I think the biggest thing that people don't understand without getting too technical is that like they always put, a more arched spring on a leaf spring vehicle to give it a lift, and that changes the way the spring rate feels, and they ride like crap. But if you take a spring that's rated for the weight of the vehicle and you mount everything correctly as far as frame mounts and shackle angles, and if you understand all that kind of stuff, your effective spring rate's pretty nice and cushy, and you get a lot of travel out of it. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
so that's what we're doing.
Okay, okay. Kurt just popped in and said howdy. Hey, Kurt, what's up, buddy?
What's up, man?
Hey.
Kurt. Okay, I think congrats are in order. I think I read he got a new job or something. So if you did, congrats. If you didn't, ignore that.
If you didn't work harder to a new job that you weren't looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that for me anyway, that was, I think the original video I watched was because I watched a story or a short on YouTube or something like that about leaf springs in a JKU, and I was like, what? Like, I gotta go check this out. Like, that's
no one does that.
Right. And then I even said to Ryan, I'm like, yeah, like we gotta get Dan on. Like, he's putting leaf springs in a JK. Like, we gotta talk about that.
It's almost when the Mustang guys get to put a 350 Chevy in. You know what I mean?
Well, exactly.
Blasphemy, man.
Right. Like, people either love it or they hate it, but either way, they want to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's a nice spot to be in, right?
Yeah. For sure.
Vince says, "What's up? What's up, Vince?
Hey, Vince.
Yeah, crazy. So,
and I think it's going to be cool to really show people what it's actually, because again, I'm not saying that leaf springs are better than anything else out there, but
thank God.
Right. I mean, like, they're not, right? But like
No.
at the same time, if they're set up right, you can have
Can
a pretty
function.
decent ride.
Yeah.
Especially with a tunable shock, right? They're simple. You don't have track bars, you don't have control arms, you don't have trusses. Like, it's real cheap to install.
Yeah.
And 14 inches of travel. You can't argue with that, right? So like, you know, people do coilovers. It's real common to only put 12s in the front on a JKU. So we have 14, right? Like front and rear. So
that's insane.
It'll be cool, and it'll be cool to take it out on the trails, because my personal JKU, right? This is a buddy's. Yeah. My personal JKU is on the same axles with the same size tires, but it's on 3-link long arms. So to take this out and that out, go to the same park, wheel the same obstacle, and kind of compare the two.
That'd be a good Pepsi challenge. That'd be cool.
That'd be
yeah. I definitely watch that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that's kind of the plan, right? Is just to show, like, you know, we want to even take them so off camber that, like, put a winch line on them, take them so off camber that the suspension unloads and it starts to tip, and then do the same thing with the other rig and do the, you know, and see how far it'll go before it gets to that point. Because again, same width, same size tires, same lift height, right? So like that's kind of the plan.
Yeah, I feel like the spring's gonna want to go first. The leaf
spring. The coil spring?
No, the leaf spring.
Oh, see, I feel like the coil spring is going to go first.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go. That's it.
I'll tell you what, because the coil spring, right? Coil spring kind of works like a slinky, right? Like it'll bend in any direction. It'll flop. Yeah. Leaf springs don't like to twist. So they'll go up and down like they should, but they don't like to twist and flop to the side. So like when you're off camber and the weight of your vehicle totally flops, I feel like a leaf spring is going to be a little bit more stable, but we'll have to see. Again, there's no track bars or anything, right? So like,
I feel they unload faster like a leaf spring.
Like we'll see.
Try and pop that also quicker. You know what I mean?
Also depends on shackle angle and everything too, though, right?
Yeah. So, there's lots of little tidbits, right? So I mean,
that'd be a great video.
It's an interesting concept, right? I mean,
you have to like
be cool to like
lead
really
up to it.
Drivability, like all those things. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have it. I mean, we're supposed to have it. We're supposed to have it out at EJS.
Oh, cool! I'll be there.
That's not going to be a shakedown run, but we are bringing it out there. We're going to bring bolt rigs out there, but
okay,
yeah. So we'll
where
see.
are you, man? Where are you right now? Like
San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, okay. So not too far.
No, like a
day.
Yeah, like 1,100 miles to Moab.
Yeah.
So,
that's just down the street.
Yeah.
takes me 4.5 days to drive to Moab.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Not quite. 4 days. So it depends where I leave. So if I leave from Michigan, it's 4.5 days.
Okay.
To get to Las Vegas or Nevada.
Right.
So like,
but he also drives like a 96-foot bus with trailer. You know, like with so he's got like what is it, 70 feet? The
70 plus feet with the bus and the trailer.
Yeah,
but like I have like a 40-foot motor, like a pusher, diesel pusher, and then I put our enclosed trailer behind it, stick all our crap in it, and the Jeep, either the Gladiator or the JL. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah. It's awesome. Yeah, it's really awesome.
Yeah, it's great. Maybe one day when the normal everyday guy YouTube channel maybe makes it, right?
That's right.
Get yourself a bus.
Get a schoolie. Yeah. I was just gonna say,
We'll that'd be another one, man.
Those are pretty
in
cool.
the garage though.
I would love.
Chuck has one. His is pretty cool.
Does he have one?
Yeah.
See, I would totally, if I had the skills to build one, I would do.
Dude, you're building house stuff is the same shit. You could build. You could totally build one. You just got to change your tool set a little bit.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Well, yeah, but it took me like I was just saying to Dan, we're on like year 3 of this renovation, so.
Well, that means it's almost done. You can go get a bus.
It'd be the longest bus conversion in history. Like that 90-year-old guy still working on that schoolie.
Maybe this
be
die
flying cars by then.
More room for the bus.
Right. Exactly.
Too old to climb in and out of the Jeep, but you got a badass schoolie.
That's right. Exactly. That's very true, right? Yeah. I could get it on like the what's it called? The hydros and up and down.
There you go.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you also have a pretty awesome Instagram channel. For everyone listening, what's your Instagram handle? Where can they check you out? I'm telling you right now, everyone check it out because it is hilarious.
So it's at WarPaint JKU No underscores or anything, just real super simple. WarPaint JKU. But yeah, that's been a blast. I will say, like, I love the whole Instagram thing. It's been awesome. It's been a lot of fun.
Do you get a lot of
favorite? Do you have a favorite? Instagram
Do I have a favorite?
YouTube? Instagram over YouTube?
Man, that's a tough call.
Or is it kind of just two different beasts all by their own?
Yeah, they're similar, right? Because like they're both off-road geared, and I use the Instagram to promote the YouTube. But yeah, they're just different, right? Like I like Instagram because it's super easy to create a post with a photo or to create a quick reel
quick, right? Yeah,
it's quick, you know. So I like that aspect of it when I'm super busy and my life doesn't really allow the hours it takes to edit a YouTube video.
Right.
But putting the videos together and doing all the editing and stuff, that's kind of fun too. So I really enjoy them both, just for different reasons.
Right.
Do you get a lot of haters though? Because you like to, you know.
Oh, I get a bunch of haters. Oh yeah. Because so on the Instagram page, like, and what's really funny about it is I truly am kidding, because my background, right? Like I grew up with my entire family was like dirt track, sprint car, race car drivers and builders, and like so I was always in a garage, right? Like held a welder in my hand when I was 7. Like I've just been doing it forever. Raced motorcycles, raced motocross as a kid. Where I lived at the time, I didn't really have any off-roading. So I was more into like street cars, drag racing, autocrossing, that kind of stuff. But still suspension design and, you know, horsepower and motors and all that kind of junk.
Yeah, it's all fundamentals, right?
Had a Jeep, did a little off-roading, and then wound up getting back into it again. And so I just love playing in the dirt. But because of all that, like I'm not really loyal necessarily to one auto manufacturer or another. Like I truly feel like when you're in your garage, you got a welder and you got like, you know, a little bit of knowledge. I mean, you can make anything into anything, right?
Sure.
So like to say like, oh, Jeeps are better than Toyotas, or like
right.
No, like, you know. I mean, I like Jeeps. I have them, so I use it to make content and make fun of Toyota guys for sure, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I get a lot of hate from that, but at the same time, like I hope to do a giveaway build one day of like you know, an old Toyota Tundra or an old Toyota Tacoma, or like, you know, it'll be everything. I'm not just gonna do Jeeps, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's the same. Because we like to give Bronco a hard time, right? But I'm the first to say like, Bronco nailed it. Like they knocked it out of the park.
They really did.
Yeah, I love them. Actually, I would totally get one. But on Instagram, Ryan had one. And would you have 37s on them?
Yeah, we put 37s on it. I got a 2-door with 2.3. They call it a 7-speed.
Right.
They had like a crawl gear, but I really thought the thing was cool. I mean, I made a bunch of money selling it because there wasn't any around, but I did keep it for 6 months. It was pretty neat.
The thing that I really like about them, and I don't know if it was their not. I mean, I'm not that important. I don't know anyone at Ford, but like I love like Toyotas are great, right? In my opinion, right? For all the haters, my opinion,
right?
Toyotas are great if like you're like the 99% of anybody that buys a vehicle. Most people, even Jeep people, they don't actually go off road. So if you're going to buy a vehicle and you want it to have like a little bit of a rugged look, and you want to put some 33s or 35s on it, but you want it to be comfortable and practical, like a Toyota is great for that, but you can't take the top off. You can't take the doors off, right?
Yep.
And then, you know, but with the independent front suspension, they drive great. And then in comes Bronco, right? And they're like, hey, we're going to take all the stuff people love about the Jeep, and then we're going to take the independent suspension and the ride of the Toyota, and we're going to slap it all together and sell it to people, because most people are never going to go off road, and it's like the best of both worlds. It's amazing. It's such an idea.
No, exactly, right. And if it gets Jeep to step up and start changing things up a little bit,
competition's always good, right?
Right. Yeah, because you don't want.
They did steal a lot from Jeep for sure.
Oh, for sure, right? Oh yeah, absolutely.
The rear door is pretty funny, like the tailgate, and
like
our tailgate table was easy to adapt to that. So we just got a common part number, and it fits Bronco JK JL.
It's that close.
Yeah, we just added enough hardware in the hardware pack. That was really most of our.
Wow,
you know,
I didn't realize it was that close. That's crazy.
Didn't you fit it up in like a weekend?
Yeah, it didn't take long. Just did it right away. Yeah. Yeah, and then we just adjusted the bolt packs, and that was it. And then obviously made instruction manual, and there you go. Right, and change the packaging. But yeah, wild. No, they're pretty cool. I mean, a lot of the Ford stuff on the front's pretty small, but like you said, if you're gonna just get away with 98% of its life on the road, just be fine and dandy.
Or like light off-roading, right? Like you take it down some trails.
Totally 101 trail and stuff like that. I would have taken mine out if I had a chance, like not obstacles or anything by any stretch, but I would have taken it like on a little scenic tour, just toot around, right? Yeah. But I would never want to crawl anything with it, like for real. You know what I mean? The steering is like the size of my index finger, right? Like it's crazy, and like the differential is just like a little grapefruit, in there. Yeah, everything's really small. The steering rack's crazy small. But if you solid axle swap one, they're very under. I don't know, I don't know the failure rate, obviously, but they appear to be undersized for the potential client. Like we do a lot of Broncos at the retail store and that are available. Like there's still not a lot of Broncos, but even for a 35-inch tire, like that steering's pretty tiny,
So I will tell you, I maybe about a month ago, maybe a couple weeks ago, I was at a local off-road park to me, and when I pulled in, I noticed there were a bunch of Broncos that were there with no license plates. And a bunch of guys got out wearing the same shirt. So I kind of thought it was Ford, right? I went over and I spoke to them, and they were really awesome guys. And they were all Jeep guys, actually, which was really funny. Yeah, but they all work for Ford, and they basically were the crew that does so if you buy a Bronco, it's actually pretty cool. If you I wish Jeep did this, right? But if you buy a Bronco, you have the ability to go sign up for an off-road class. I think it's included with the car, with the VIN number or something.
Okay.
So these guys are the guys that hold the off-road classes, right? And they basically take stock Broncos that you just bought, and they kind of just show you the basics on how to wheel and how to do it safely, which is kind of cool. And I talked to them about the steering specifically, because they're out there on the trails doing it, and they said they've never had one break because they're stock. And they said for stock, they're fine. But when you start pushing it and you put, 35s or 37s on it, they break. Right. So,
yeah, it makes sense. It looks like it would just fuck off for sure. Yeah.
It's just kind of shocking, right? And that's the other thing too with axles. Everyone always talks, the Toyota guys love to talk about how Jeep axles, Jeeps are great after you take everything that makes it a Jeep out of it and put all new stuff in it. Right. But I also think a big part of the problem is that a Dana 44 or even a Dana 30, right? They're not weak. It's not the strongest, but they're not weak. The awesome part of a Jeep, right? The giant wheel wells, why we can all put giant tires on them without even cutting them apart, is why we put tires on them that are too big for the axles. You can't do that on a Toyota, right? The wheel wells are so much smaller. You can't put that 37-inch tire on there and run a stock axle, right?
Yeah, and you need a cab mount job too if you want to,
right.
We just did a newer 4Runner with 35s at the retail store. It looked like a monster, but yeah, it's tough to get 35s under any of those quarter-ton platforms.
And that's a lot of the Toyota guys are but you're always breaking your axles, and it's well, if all we ever put on them were 33s, we wouldn't break our axles.
Totally true. Yeah.
We'd be exactly like Toyota in that respect, right? No one would ever break their axle with a stock size tire. But when you upgrade them, because it's so easy to do. People can essentially bolt 40s on with a 3.5-inch lift.
Yeah.
It's a bad idea. I'm not saying go do that, but
Yeah, fair enough. Real quick, before we get just onto the next topic, I promised Harry we'd get back to this question.
Oh,
shit.
I feel
like that was a while ago. So if you're still around, Harry, sorry about that, buddy. Okay, so he has a 2023 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. He's looking for the best lift that rides nice on and off road. Any thoughts on that?
The best lift?
What kind of off road?
Sweet. Any more questions? I think we waited.
There's a lot to that. It's a loaded question, right?
That's true. That's true. It's true.
And then it really depends on it, performance over maintenance. How much maintenance do you want to do for performance? Because anything that has more performance is more maintenance.
I believe he's in Michigan, if memory serves. I think from a while back. I don't know. I could be wrong, but yeah, that's a good question. Well, let's just say it's like moderate off-road, nothing crazy, trail riding, because now I feel like we have to answer the question. So let's say like I don't know, he didn't say anything about tires, so let's just, I don't know, like what about like even like a spacer lift? I'll tell you, you know, whatever you want to say about JK or JLs and lifts and what have you, I have the Combat spacer lift in my JL, and it's awesome. I mean, I think it's getting to the point now where it's getting to be a little bit, probably need to switch it out, but it was right brand new. I picked it up, put in the spacer lift, and for, you know, whatever it's been the last year and a half or whatever, it's been fantastic.
Yeah, well, you're gonna ride. You're just basically just the spacer kit's just good for people that have bought the premium one. You want to keep all that, all that premium, like factory tuned stuff that you already had. You just need a little more space, you know, for the tire, right? So that's kind of where that fits that niche.
Yeah, but it wheels great. Like, I mean, I've had no problems keeping up with anyone I've been with.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like the loaded question is, right? Like, what makes sense for him? Like, if you paid, he said he had a Rubicon, right?
Yeah.
So if he paid for all that gear and it's brand new, and like, you know, if you can weigh out what you think you could get for that used on the used market platform, like springs and shocks and control arms and all that, if you can find a buyer. Versus what you're really going to do with it. Maybe a spacer lift just works fine for you. If you're going to 99% on the road, do little trails with some friends, and that's it. But if you want to go, you know, make this thing like put it on 40s, and you want to go like push your limits on the weekends and this, that, and the other, or even like medium trails, you know what I mean? Then you're probably going to want something, you know, full adjustability. Then you're going to have to take the time to, you know, take care of that product, right? You're going to have to service all the serviceable joints. You know, if you do anything crazy, like the crazier you get, the crazier you got to do. Like if you have coilovers, you got to take that stuff apart and like wax those bodies and reset everything. You almost got to be a mechanic when you get into those things. So, you know, happy to discuss it further with them, but you kind of just got to figure out what you want to do and what the purpose of the vehicle is versus getting blinded by all the crazy pizzazz of the internet. You know what I mean?
And Ryan, let me just say, that is the best answer that I've ever heard anybody that sells Jeep parts give to someone that they don't even know. Because I will tell you right now, like I've been in the off-road industry for a long time, right? Not always with Jeeps, but it's all kind of the same. And I feel like so many people that make stuff in their shops have deals with certain companies or whatever, and they don't listen to what the person coming in asking the question, like how I mean, it happens all the time, right? Guy just gets his tax return and he's like, hey man, I want to put a lift on my Jeep, which one do I get? He doesn't know anything about anything.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh well, you know, and they talk him into some lift that's way beyond what they need, just because it's going to make them the most money and he had enough cash to buy it, right? Like it doesn't need to be that way. Like they're just taking advantage.
No. Well, we do that for like lifetime value of a customer, right? Like we want to make friends with everyone. You know what I mean? Like whatever works for you now, and then if that works for you now and you evolve down the road, that's just the cost of evolving, right? So take that spacer kit off, sell to the next guy down the road at a used thing, and then you get to, or you just leave that spacer kit forever. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, that's what we do. We sell happiness, man. Like our armored taillight kits, like they make sense for a million people because you're not going to smash your taillight off, your crappy plastic one. It makes sense. But I mean, if you don't like the look of it, or you don't think it's for you, or you really want those proximity sensors, then that makes you happy, man. I'm happy. You're happy. I'm happy. You know what I mean? But yeah, same kind of thing. That's what we do even in the retail stores too. We get to know the customer, you know, depending on how quick they want to be known, and then just get them the stuff that makes the most sense for the money.
That's the way it should be done, man. There's so many shops out there that don't do it that way, and then people wind up driving away with a lift that's way more advanced than they are, right? And then they're like they're upset with it. Or then they learn later what they have, and they're like, "Man, I didn't need all that." It just
totally
not a good idea, you know.
I seen a guy on like a Facebook page. He like bought like Pro X stickies to drive as a daily driver. He's like, "Oh, these are so crazy." I have a set of them. They're so brutal. We put them on the Gladiator just for SEMA. Like our Gladiator was our SEMA truck this year.
Yeah,
we put them on because they're just badass, but. dude, we had to drive around Vegas for we were there a week in advance doing some other crap, and just like just the only way you could kind of get half smooth was, and these are the stickies, like they're like, you stuck your finger on it after you drove down the highway, like you couldn't pull your finger off the tire.
Yeah.
And you could smell it, and you could feel it. It was like moving on jam. Like if your whole Jeep was on the jam, that's what it felt like. So it's pretty funny. But yeah, this poor guy spent probably like $6,000 on these tires. Oh. And that's his only vehicle, and it was his daily driver. I was like, oh, dude, I feel so bad that like someone just totally jammed you like that. You know what I mean?
Well, that's it. Because not only how crappy it rides on the street like that, but they're not going to last.
Oh no, yeah. Well, they're gonna check crack before they even wear down, even as a sticky. Like that compound just separates, right? Like, yeah. I don't know. I felt bad. I'm like, oh, bastards, right?
Harry says thanks for the info. So
yeah, Harry. Well, if you have any other questions, Harry, or you want to go into more detail, you can shoot an email up, like just Ryan@combat-offroad.com, and happy to get you some information.
Now all the ladies are going to email you.
There you go.
You're going to get in trouble now.
Rusty,
I
get those emails with the foreign ladies that want to be wed, all that kind of stuff.
What? I do not get those.
You don't get those? Like the Helgas of the world? They're going to do
the Helgas of the
yeah.
The Helgas of the world.
No, that's I don't funny. Get those.
That's right.
So Dan, tell us what so just to sort of transition. So we've got the YouTube channel and an awesome, fun Instagram channel. You're also, and of course, you do the mechanic side of thing. I mean, you do that for fun, right? Like you don't do people like your buddies come and hire you to do work for them, or
no?
Because that's your buddy's JK, right? So.
It is, yeah, it is, and I'm building it for him, and we're basically doing it for the YouTube channel. Is the kind of deal. Because he's pretty competent too, as a builder. Like he's pretty dangerous with a welder in a good way. So I mean, they don't hire me at all. I just do it because I enjoy doing it, and I'm a friend of theirs. So they're obviously paying for the parts. I'm just putting it together.
Sure. Yeah, I just didn't know if it's like if you have a pickup, like all of a sudden you're like everyone's best friend when you need they need something. So,
and I mean, I get phone calls all the neighbors. I get phone calls all the time, but I don't know. I think so far everyone's always only seen me in this area, at least where I currently live, work on Jeeps. And so if they don't have a Jeep, they don't tend to call me.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, that's good news that they don't think you can work on anything else. You can just work on Jeeps.
Right.
It's kind of interesting, right? Like, that guy just builds Jeeps. He doesn't know anything about anything else.
Right. Exactly.
He's so strange, man.
But in addition to that, you do some, obviously you wheel, but you're a trail guide, yes? Tell us about that, and tell us specifically, I think, the event series that you're helping out with.
Yeah, so it's just in my personality, right? Like I like helping people. I like making, people don't show up to the trails to be nervous and scared. And I think sometimes for people, depending upon their skill level and their ability level, like you can be put in those situations. Mm-hmm. So I think having someone out there that has some experience, that's a little calm, that, talks to you as a driver of a vehicle and gets a sense for what you need in order to be successful and comfortable, that makes everyone's day fun, right? Because it's not fun when you're out there breaking stuff. Not for the average guy that can't afford.
Not for anybody, dude. I don't want to break anything.
Yeah, exactly. So that whole thing, along with the the YouTube and the Instagram, it all kind of worked together, and I wound up being selected this year as one of the trail guides for the off-road field trip. So, cool. Yeah, so that'll be fun. So we're gonna go do that. That's gonna be a good time. And then obviously, whenever I'm out at random events or as soon as there's a group, it just seems like I always. And I'm perfectly fine not being the leader, to be honest. Like, because when I'm not leading the trail, I actually am able to shoot way more video.
Oh, right. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So I'd rather sometimes not. But yeah, people tend to elect me into that position a lot of the time. So
yeah, amazing. Yeah, the off-road field trip's awesome. We had Holly on while back, and she was talking about it, and
yeah,
it's it seems like a great event. I've not attended. I don't, Ryan. I think you are attending one for sure.
I'm gonna try and jump onto one. Well, I'm gonna get Chris Miller. Hopefully he'll peel some time for us and pop on and talk about it.
Nice.
So,
okay.
You would know Chris Miller then, Dan, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So, but it seems like a great event. So you're obviously gonna do a close like Texas.
So
event,
this year, because again, I am the normal everyday guy, and I have a normal job that I don't have unlimited time off from. Sure. I'm traveling around a fair bit, and trying to also save some time to maybe like bring my kids to Disney World.
Right.
So I'm doing 3 of their events this year. They're all in Texas. It's actually the only place they're going to 3 times, which just shows you how awesome it is. But yeah, we're gonna be at Wolf Caves for 3 events this year, and I should be at all 3 of those. So should be pretty cool. I'd like to do it maybe again next year, maybe travel a little farther. This year, we're obviously going to Easter Jeep Safari and that kind of stuff, and a lot of events all over Texas. Next year, I'd like to try to maybe head a little bit back east, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. See how it goes.
Nice.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Sorry, I just side note. How about this? What's her name? Lisa Marie Presley. She just died. I just got a notification. How about that?
Why did you know her?
Elvis is.
That was their last text.
Elvis's daughter, right? What the heck, man?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy. There you go.
You know who owns the rights? Now, I don't know if this is true or not. Let me preface it with that. I read it on the internet, so it's got to be true.
It's true anyway. It doesn't matter.
This is wild. I didn't know this the other day, but Shaq, like Shaquille O'Neal, right?
Yeah.
He owns the rights to Elvis Presley and Marilyn Monroe. So like all of the anything that's ever sold or anything, like anytime they play like Elvis's music, like he gets a cut. Really? He spent like $135 million or something and owns the rights to both those people.
I heard that he's a very savvy businessman.
It's insane.
Yeah, I did not know that. But yeah,
I started looking him up because I was like, this guy's on every commercial. Like, this is insane. What does he even own? And it's ridiculous. The guy owns like 500 businesses.
Yeah, he's like incredible. He like goes out to Walmarts, and I think he said if he goes to a Walmart to get something, he can't leave unless he buys somebody else whatever it is that they're getting. So he'll go in and just to grab whatever, and his like rule is that he'll pay for other people. Like, what do you need? Okay, here's $500, whatever it is, I'll pay for your bill. Like every time. Crazy. It's right. So, it's amazing. Like
I gotta follow him around next time. I gotta go.
That's
I always have a big grocery bill when we start the RV trip. I gotta fucking figure out where that guy is.
Yeah, no kidding. It's crazy.
Hey, I saw you do this on TV. Fill my cart.
Yeah, he's probably not trying to help people that are pulling up in an RV bus, pulling a 40-foot trailer.
We won't know. I'm gonna park. I park way away.
That's hilarious.
You got a bigger bus than Shaq does. He's probably
not true, right?
Mine's older though. Shaq's gonna have a new one. Mine's old as shit.
That's true. He probably does have a new one.
All right, but yours is like now though. It's so old. It's like cool now. You know what I mean? Like it's
cool. There's no DEF fluid. There's no emissions.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, man. It doesn't cost like my 21 dually on 37s gets fucking worse fuel mileage than my 40-foot, 26,000-pound bus with a 3126 cat in the back.
We're actually that's funny. I'm doing a when we go out to EJS, I'm doing a towing review comparing 2 popular trucks. Because one, being a Jeep channel, my most popular video is titled "Do You Need a Diesel?" and I'm talking about the Hemi Ram 2500.
Yeah.
Because like they pull so much weight compared to like the older diesels, like the old 6 liters and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And when you like what you're talking about with the DEF fluid and the price of diesel fuel and like injectors and the oil changes are more expensive and the fuel filters, like all the stuff that you don't have to do to a gas engine, right? Like plus the added cost of buying a diesel on top of it. It's like if you're not towing super, super, super heavy, it's not worth it. Right. So like we're actually doing a comparison video because again, this Jeep behind me, is almost identical to mine, right? Like we're both on the same axles, 40-inch tires. They're both even freaking silver. And we're putting them on very, very, very similar weight trailers. Mine's like 100 pounds heavier than the other one. And we're towing them on the same route at the same time of day, in the same traffic, in the same weather, to the same place. So I figure, like, what better way to do a towing comparison of like a Ram 2500, and then the other truck's an F-150 with the twin turbo 6-cylinder.
Okay. What year's your truck?
22.
2500 diesel?
Yeah. No, it's the 6.4 Hemi.
Oh, you're gonna go gas on gas, guys. Okay.
We're gonna go gas on gas. Just two popular trucks, right? Just to talk about, seat of the, like a light duty versus maybe something a little heavier duty. V8 versus the twin turbo 6-cylinder. Like, seat of the pants feel, fuel mileage, just to compare them.
I'll tell you, on our website on JeepBeef, we wrote an article a million years ago, and to be honest, I don't even know how accurate it is anymore because it was so long ago. I don't even know who wrote it. But it's about what you can tow with your Jeep. It's by far the #1 most visited page on the website. Like, it gets thousands and thousands of hits every single month. And we have a 0 on the website about towing. Like, it's so funny. We don't have anything that you can use for towing, like 0. But we get thousands and thousands of hits of people that are just curious, like, what can I tow? Can I tow this? Can I tow that?
We did a podcast on it.
Well, that's what kicked off the article. So the article, I think, was written to support the podcast back when we were doing the whole thing, because we thought we had, I don't know, all the time in the world before.
Right.
But and it got crazy. Yeah. So I think the podcast episode may even be on the page. But yeah,
you'd be the guy to know.
You would think so, but I don't. It's been years.
Like, I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't look. I know what the stats are, but I don't go to the page.
I saw the email. I just didn't open it.
Yeah, I did it all the time. Yeah, I just get a notification. I don't read it. I get too many.
Yeah, because if she emailed you that she died, you'd never know.
Right. Well, that's all it would say. I just read it and go, "Oh, dead. Okay, good. That's it."
Yeah.
Look at this. Okay, look. This has been since we were on the show. Okay, I've got like tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of emails.
That's the biggest phone I've ever seen.
I know. It's my I'm just a leprechaun secretly.
I know.
Normal size phone.
What's all these gag props, Paul? You got the biggest beer bottle.
A normal size beer bottle.
Maybe
everything.
Paul's only like 3 feet tall.
That's the thing. I'm like, that's what I said. I'm a leprechaun. I got a normal beer.
I've actually never seen him in person, so who knows?
That's right.
Neither have I. Yeah. Could be.
He's at the end of the rainbow over here on my iPhone. Hello.
Hey, that's the old one too.
Yeah.
He's Pocket Paul. Thanks, Paul.
Pocket Paul.
Great. That's gonna stick.
Yeah, that's on the internet forever, buddy. You can't live that one down.
That one's probably the worst ever. Good.
Pocket Paul.
Awesome. Yeah.
I'm making you a fucking shirt that says Pocket Paul. And I'm gonna get one of those. Dude, I'm gonna embroider PP like on the little like pen pocket spot.
There you go.
Yeah,
we have a JeepBeef shirt that's actually not on the site, I don't think. That as a pocket tee, and it's the best shirt ever. It's it's amazing, but it's got the
does it have like a V-neck too for the bros?
With the bros? No, I should get those. So those are cheaper. Go with those. Yeah.
Less material.
Really? Less material.
Yeah, for every 20 V-necks you make, you can make one regular t-shirt.
That's right. Yeah. No, I think they're just they used to be. They weren't that popular, so I think that's it.
They're overstocked. This shirt was made in 1982.
That's right. I'm just hanging on to them. They'll come back.
Smells musty right out of the box.
Wait long enough, they come right back around.
That's true. Everything cycles.
It's so true.
So funny.
And it's getting shorter, the cycle, right? So 10 years.
You told me the world's spinning quicker, so we are actually moving faster through time.
I think
that's what you said. That's what you said, Paul.
Oh, it feels like it.
I think we are moving faster through time, but I think it's.
I know we ate up an hour in no time.
I know, right? I think it has to do with age, though, too. Right? So. Yeah. So anyway, real quick, where what are you going like next? Like, what's next for the channel? Are you is your goal to grow the YouTube channel, or are you just kind of like having fun and whatever happens? Or
yeah, so definitely having fun. Whatever happens. If the YouTube channel stops growing, I'm not. I mean, I guess I might be a little disappointed, but my life will go on. I won't shed a tear over it. Sure. but at the same time, I'm going to keep building stuff no matter what. I do have a plan that I'm not going to talk a ton about because we're still in the working it out, but we're pretty serious about it, of doing a King of the Hammers, everyday man vehicle build, and then racing King of the Hammers, and then giving it away once we finish.
That's sick.
So that would be kind of fun, but that's a future thing. I mean, that might not be for a couple of years. Giveaway builds definitely coming in the future. It's just a matter of time. I mean, the channel is monetized, right? They don't pay me a lot, but they pay me. But because it's not my living, I'm just kind of keeping that money. And as soon as we have enough, I'll buy a vehicle and we'll do a giveaway build. So that's on the horizon for sure. Nice. And just more wheeling, more builds, and just keeping it going like it's been going.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I am gonna real quick. I am gonna in the future make, I think, some more videos that are more aimed at the general population. Because again, like, while this is cool, and it would be getting a ton of views if it was on a channel that was super popular and not as new as mine, no one's finding me because of this build, right?
Right. Like, who's looking for, like, hey, show me the leaf springs or the
no one, it's cool and people want to see it when they know about it, but like no one's looking for that.
Yeah, fair enough. I think I don't know. I think there's lots on YouTube, but I don't know. I personally spend more and more time on YouTube. It's a great place to learn things, and real quick, going back to what you were saying earlier, just in terms of anyone who's considering starting a channel, I'll tell you, I think I have like 15 videos that I've done but I stopped like 8 months ago because it really is a commitment. I mean,
it's huge,
right? Like, it is a serious commitment. And how often do you post? Like, do you post every week or?
So I tried the last couple of weeks. I've actually fallen off because I had family visiting. We had Christmas going on, New Year's, all that kind of stuff. But I was trying to post at a minimum of once a week. When I started doing this build here, I was getting sometimes twice a week in there to keep people updated. But now it's been a couple weeks, but I'm gonna get back on that next week, right? So like next week, I'm gonna have wheeling content coming up from the event I'm going to this weekend, and then I'm back on finishing up the rear suspension on this vehicle behind me here, and we'll get a video out about that, and then and then more Jeep events coming in the future, right? So it'll be pretty fun.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, right on. Yeah, so if you're considering a YouTube channel, you just gotta go into it understanding that you need an awful lot of you need commitment, basically, right? Consistency and commitment, really.
Yeah, and in a niche, right? Like, a lot of people want to do it, but what's your content going to be? Like, who's it marketed to? Like, you got to think, you really truly, if you want to be successful, you truly have to approach it like a business, and have that mindset. Otherwise, it's not going to go anywhere.
And it's almost like micro niches now, right? Like, it's not just enough to be a Jeep guy. You got to be like, a niche inside a niche, right? Like,
right. Well, and that's just it, right? Like, I feel like I'm, what am I, like the 10 billionth person to have a Jeep YouTube channel? Like,
I think but so. I read that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I wrote that article though. So
yeah, there we go.
But again, like, I just don't think that there's too many of them that do the normal everyday guy stuff with 1-tons, right? Like, there's a lot of people showing you how to put a lift kit on or reviewing a stereo, but they're not showing you how to build the axles that you wish you could have, and how to do it on a budget. So,
yeah,
no, I think it's very, it's value. There's value there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think so. I mean, and it's really cool when I get messages from people that are like, oh man, I blew the ring gear out of my 14 bolt and I watched your videos. I think I'm going to tackle it. It was always voodoo to me, but I think I'm going to go after it. I'm like, I'll FaceTime with people, like, when, because the channel's small enough now to where, like, I can do that. Right. But like, I'm also reachable, like, it might take me a few days to get back to you, but I'm going to get back to you, like, it's truly about giving back and helping people. So,
that's good, man.
Yeah. Very cool.
We'll see.
Amazing. All right. Well, let everyone know where they can find you. I think we probably already said earlier, but just so everyone's clear.
Really the best place, right, is my Instagram page, because there's a link at the top that'll take you to my website, which kind of has everything. But the website, same thing, WarPaintJKU.com. Instagram page, same name, WarPaint JKU. And even the YouTube channel, same name, WarPaint JKU. So, you know, it's pretty easy to find.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That makes sense. I hate when people like change things.
Like, it's hard, right? You forget it all.
I went in, and when I started this whole thing from the very beginning, I didn't even realize like that it was necessarily going to grow to this point. But just in case it did, you know, business mindset, I actually grabbed the handle on every social media site. Right. Like I never plan on having a Twitter account for WarPaint JKU, but I took the name. You know what I mean? I took the name everywhere. So.
Yeah, super smart, because if you don't, then someone else
someone else could be doing like talking about weird stuff, and then somebody assumes that's you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like
it was even worse, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. JeepBeef on TikTok is gone like instantly. Like it was gone because we've had a TikTok account for, well, we tried to get the name, same thing, right? Like we always try to get it if there's a new social network. And I mean, nobody's ever posted on it, on the guy who took it, but you know, it's just like, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, fuck it. And
probably like
you
some
can't even buy it.
Kid that had got his first Dana 30 and was like, look how beefy this thing is.
Right? Yeah.
He actually thought he came
sent
up
him
with
a
a
message.
Name. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, because I sent him a message. I'm like, dude, like, if you're doing it to get cash, like, I'll buy it. Like, whatever.
He replied?
You know? No, never replied. So, more reason to think that he's just,
maybe Shaq owns it.
Probably.
He owns enough.
Shaq,
the dabbler.
From now on, I'm blaming everything on Shaq.
Shaq has a Jeep.
Shaq.
He sits in the back, but it's pretty cool.
I mean, you know you've made it when like random podcasts about off-roading are talking about you.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
Exactly. You're not. He's not even in the off-road industry at all, and he somehow wound up talking about him.
Exactly. Right on.
Well,
Dan, man, I really appreciate you joining us tonight. It was super fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It was awesome.
Yeah, really interested in learning more about the whole YouTube thing. And yeah, anyone who's stuck around, thanks very much. And,
thank you.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for always tuning in. You always tuning in, tuners.
Always tuning in, tuners. Yep. If you haven't, consider leaving a review if you're listening on the old audio.
We never asked.
Harry's here. He's going to add WarPaint JKU to his YouTube account. So there you go.
Maybe you're going to do your lift kit in your garage all by yourself.
There you go. Yeah. If you have more information on that lift kit,
you have questions, Dan,
hit up any of us.
Dan anytime, any day or night. He doesn't care. He's here to help.
That's right. He's going to FaceTime with you.
My wife might get a little upset, but I'll do it.
That's right. Yeah. 3 a.m. God damn it.
Yeah. Grab that wrench. Grab that wrench. Yeah. Don't touch those nuts.
I will say the saving grace, right, is like probably most of us on Instagram, shut off all my notifications. So because they're just going off all day.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So,
yes, I know.
Yeah.
It sucks because you miss some really good stuff and people are like, oh, hey, I tried to tag you in this. And then like, I can't, like I get way too many notifications. So I don't see anything. Buried. Yeah, for sure. So again, everyone, thanks for tuning in, and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and Dan will get you back on, especially maybe around the time you do one of your events, or maybe after one of our events. So thanks again, everyone. We're out. We're gone. We'll see you next week.
Cool. See you guys.